Thanks for having me. I'm 100% Scottish. Dundee, in case you're interested. My name's Jason, by the way. Who here's a web developer? All right, thank God. Here we go. Anybody develop with WordPress, by the way? All right, close your ears for the next 5 minutes. All right, so you remember when the web was fun? This was sort of circa 1999, and we were all building stuff on GeoCities, and it was HTML, and this was pre-JavaScript, pre-CSS, and it was all fun and games. And what was happening there was that these were all static websites. There was a web server, it was serving up HTML, and everything was pretty straightforward, everything was cool. Along came content management systems, introduced databases, and things started to get a bit more complex. The biggest sort of case in point is WordPress, which by most measures runs about 25% of the internet right now, which is insane. With that came problems. WordPress is slow. A lot of that's got to do with the fact that there's just a lot more going on. You're making calls to databases, it's just naturally slower. With that also came security issues. By some estimates, as much as 73% of WordPress websites are vulnerable to attack. They're on old versions. There's lots of attack vectors with sort of the complexity of this, so not a great situation. Along with that, the dev tools are changing, principally around the things around WordPress, PHP, MySQL. If you're a PHP and MySQL developer, now would be a good time to level up. And so suffice to say, web publishing's changing. You've got WordPress, big granddaddy in the middle. Along here with sort of non-technical, you've got things like Squarespace and Wix, which make it really easy to get stuff on the internet. And then down here on sort of the technical end of the spectrum are things like static site generators. Anybody here build sites with GitHub pages? Anybody know what Jekyll is? Keep your hand up, please. Thank God I'm not alone. All right, here we go. That's sort of the future, and that's sort of introduces Aerobatic. So what's Aerobatic? Easiest way to manage and deploy static HTML websites. We've got thousands of developers that use Aerobatic to host their websites. We started a couple of years ago. The core platform itself is open source. And these three chaps are just nice people, nice customers in Stockholm that took pictures of wearing our T-shirts in Stockholm and sent it to us, which was pretty cool. We got a pretty passionate group of customers. And by the way, if PowerPoint crashes here, I'm glad that the Azure guy is following me. I can just sort of raise my hand and say, come fix this for me. All right, so what's Aerobatic all about? Don't make me think about all this stuff. So when you're building a static site, you got to think about pushing all this stuff out onto a content delivery network for performance, because we don't want slow sites. We're thinking about things like SSL, which Google cares a whole lot more about these days when it comes to search engine optimization. We think about test environments, we think about scaling, we think about auth, all that stuff just sort of handled automatically with Aerobatic. You could try and hack it yourself, but that's exhausting. I'll just pause, that's a pun, that's Volkswagen, you can hack it yourself. I tell you what, the Tacoma crowd got it a lot better than this crowd did. It just wasn't funny, all right, fair enough. The idea here is that with Aerobatic, everyone can continuously deploy. Whether you're a designer and you've got some technical skills like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or you're full stack dev, the idea here is that everybody can use it. Not only that, it's backed by a world-class architecture. We are basically all in on AWS. We were featured on AWS podcast recently for some of the innovative things we've been doing around serverless architectures. And we do all that faster than Kobayashi can eat 2 hot dogs. So if Jeff Bezos has got the 2 pizza rule, we've got the 2 hot dog rule. We'll deploy your website faster than this guy can eat 2 hot dogs, and eats them about 10 seconds a pop. I'm going to show that to you right now. Well, I would have shown you that if it was actually deploying. Thanks, Brett. This is a video. It basically deploys a website in 30 seconds. It usually autoplays. It didn't tonight, but there you go. What's next? GitHub integration, enterprise integration. And I think sort of the idea here is making this a whole lot less technical for non-technical, less technical people such as marketers. That's kind of where the space is going. And I think WordPress themselves are going to be feeling the squeeze here pretty soon. With that, I'll just say thank you. For everybody here tonight, got a promo code, New Tech. You can deploy your site on Aerobatic. First month's free on us. Thank you. Yeah, so the question is, do we do sort of best practices around performance like minification, gzip compression? The answer is yes.
What if you want to do full stack development, instead of just deploying a single website?
Full stack in the sense that there's some database, and what do you mean by that?
Yeah, in the sense
Okay.
there's some database.
Yeah, so I would assert that sort of the way that modern web development is going is that sort of the days of sort of monolithic web apps are behind us, and now we've got separate front ends, we've got separate back ends, we got APIs talking to each other. You might host your front end with Aerobatic, and you might host your back end somewhere else. I think AWS is making that a lot easier now as well. Yes?
So one of the advantages of something like WordPress is I can sit somebody down in 3 minutes, they can learn how to update their website. How easy is this for a completely non-technical person to keep a website updated?
Yeah, it's a good question, right? So the question is, how easy is it for a non-technical person to do something like this? I think the honest answer is today it's not. You know, basically there's an underlying premise that you know Git. If you can author Markdown, you can do this stuff. But I think I think today this is just a function of maturity of the space. I expect that you'll see sort of higher levels of abstraction, like you know, kind of lightweight editors that make a lot of the details of this disappear. It's certainly what we're working on. All right, thank you.